Train the muscles, not the joints.
Welcome back to Natural Gallant Bodybuilding, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about equipment, gym equipment specifically, because this is a gym channel. We're talking about lifting weights. We're talking about, some of you guys might want to watch a video on different types of equipment. Hence, I introduce you to the exercise half nunchaka. You can beat trolls half to death with this and still get a great cardio workout and get home in time for dinner. Just take the dust off first. Maybe workout equipment's not good enough for you. Hey, it's not good enough for you. You're like all fancy pants, you know what I mean? It's like, ooh, that stuff's so barbaric. That stuff has to do with like muscles and stuff. I'm not interested. Well, you know what? Go back to playing your video games and screw off, all right? This is mountain talk. Let the men talk now, okay? The men and the women that are empowered, okay? That's what we're gonna do here. So if you don't want to be a part of that, just move on. Move along. Mountain. So there's nothing worse than training on crappy equipment. That's one thing I have to say. Like when you're training on crappy equipment, it's just really distracting. It doesn't necessarily work that well. You know, you're always fighting the friction of the machine or whatever. And the nice part is that I train at Murph's Gym, so Murph's Gym always has pretty decent equipment, or if something isn't decent, it's pretty much replaced right away. Like Kyle's always replacing something, changing things. Sometimes that can get annoying too because the guy's always upgrading, so that's kind of good. You know, I mean, the thing is that he's made all the right decisions so far, so I do like the gym for that reason. But somebody asked me in the comments, they said, Jason, I noticed you train on some pretty high-end equipment. What is the difference between high-end and low-end, and what are your thoughts on this? Well, first of all, my thoughts on equipment, first and foremost, has to be with structural integrity, right? Because I've seen some people do bench presses or shoulder presses on something, and the thing didn't bolt down to the floor, or it was kind of wobbly, so it was actually a danger to people to train on. And you see it in some of these old school gyms where somebody racks the weight and then the whole thing flips over or whatever. That's obviously the worst case scenario for bad equipment, is that it increases your chance of injury. So that's something that that I definitely stay away from. If you see equipment like that, then that's definitely not the stuff you want to train on, because you know it just takes one accident and there you go, your career is pretty much done. So the other thing though I want to say is that a lot of times gyms will use cable machines, or they'll use pec decks or flies or whatever, things with cams and everything, but the stuff is not smooth, or it has a lot of friction to it. So basically when you're doing any sort of concentric rep, like you're squeezing the muscles, you'll notice that you're fighting a lot more tension on the way up than you are on the way down. So this really goes against muscle growth, because it's the free flow of the tension on the way down that causes most of the muscle damage, and that causes most of the growth. So if the friction is stopping the negative part of the repetition, it's going to keep you from getting the same amount of gains. So I find cheap pieces of equipment, a lot of times they do have this. They'll have so much friction in the machine that you're not necessarily getting real tension. It's not as much real world like, you know, like gravity doesn't have tension on the way down. You know what I'm saying? It's just free flow. But anyway, this is gonna be for sale on my website for $74.95. $74.95 plus shipping. This will be on sale on the website, and this will guarantee you muscular gains and troll pounding ability. Anybody disagrees with you, just pack! Hey, just like that. Anybody disagrees with you, just like take them right out. This is also otherwise known as the always right stick. When you have one of the always right sticks, you never have to be wrong ever again. You're instantaneously Stephen Hawking. Nobody can argue with your logic. So that's one thing I've noticed that's different between a cheap piece of equipment and an expensive piece. The other thing is, with expensive pieces of equipment, or pieces of equipment that are higher quality, the dog's gonna die soon. I'm gonna get the shut up stick. He's quiet right now. He's lucky. So the other thing I noticed about high-end equipment is that it's highly adjustable. So not only is it stable, not only is it strong, it is adjustable, so that way you can get the right angles for yourself. So everything from the bottom seat to the incline to where the bar is unracked or racked. So say the shoulder press. A good shoulder press will have two pegs in the front that go up and down, and a seat that also goes up and down. That makes a big difference, right? Because each person is built differently, so it goes in alignment with the Gallantian sort of method here, where each person's built differently, so you need to adjust the machine based on how their dimensions are playing out. So I have noticed this a lot with incline benches or flat benches or whatever. Like, the more adjustability there is, the better, as long as it's done in a way that's extremely stable and safe. Chocolate, I don't get it.
Holy cow.
My cameraman's an idiot.
I love it.
The big problem with a lot of machines, where people get injured on machines, is when the machine locks you into a position that's not right for your body and it doesn't allow any adjustability. So I noticed like some hammer strength machines, the seat will move up and down and the angle of the bench will go back and forth or whatever. Like, that's great, that's an ideal scenario. But if a machine is one size fits all, that's going to be kind of a different sort of story, and you're going to have to really get creative in how to make that machine work for you if it isn't built for you, right? Sometimes you're just lucky, you sit in the thing and it seems like somebody actually just made it for you, but a lot of times that's not the case. So that's the major difference between good equipment and bad equipment, is adjustability, structural integrity, and along with, you know, they think outside the box as far as like, or they make sure that you can at least bolt the stuff down and be safe, right? So those are the things I look for in good equipment. Adjustability, integrity, as well as safety, right? That's huge, right? And then the fourth is, if it is a machine that uses pulleys or cams or anything like that, it's really smooth. So it's like the machine doesn't exist. The only thing that the machine's changing is actually the angle of attack, but it's not getting in the way of you experiencing the tension of the weight. That's my 2 cents on that. So I hope this helps you out in your training. Thanks a lot for watching. If you need to get a hold of me, just go to naturalgallantbodybuilding.com, and thanks to the Patreon supporters, and take care for now. Mountain.